Mississippi Farm Bureau. Ole Miss got game one on Friday night. Great pitching performance from Jack Doherty. Mitch Morrell finished it off, and then Mississippi State won the back two in the series. And so, Coach, some good on Friday, but I know, kind of listening to your post game on the radio, disappointed with the totality of the weekend for your guys.
Well, obviously, you got to be disappointed. You're there to win the weekend, and when you win Friday, you just and you don't finish the deal. Obviously, it's tough. Our guys competed hard. They just made a few more pitches than us. A few better at bats. It was 3 really good college baseball games, but not good enough if you're an Ole Miss fan.
What did you think about Jack in game one? He goes 6 innings, gives up only 2 hits, only the 1 earned run. He struck out 4 through right at 100 pitches in the ball game. Was that his best outing of the year?
Oh, I think so. Against what we consider a good offense in Mississippi State, and especially going through that middle with Ledbetter and Hines and Jordan and Hancock, to try to navigate through, that middle lineup's pretty tough. And he did it. He pitched real well. And like you said, 2 hits, but, one of them, Jordan's obviously a no doubter home run. But the other one was a ball kind of lost at dusk, in the lights that, or not in the lights, but, in the kind of a gray sky. So, no, he was outstanding.
What do you take away from the second and the third game? You're down in the 9th inning. You come back, you take the lead. Obviously, not able to hold on there in the bottom of the 9th inning. But some of that was self-inflicted, right? With the walks to load the bases and kind of put you in that spot.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think in both games, we gave them free base runners, and that's tough. And when you're going to do that at the end of the game, on somebody else's field in front of great crowds and great atmospheres, I mean, you're playing with poison, there. And so, we got on Saturday. It's hard to expect to win a game when you walk 3 in the final inning, when you're trying to finish it out. So that's not how you do it, and that's not how you draw it up, obviously. So that's tough. But also, like I've said, we can be critical of the bullpen, which is deserving. We can be critical, at times of the starting pitching. We can be critical of the offense and, not scoring, more runs and extending leads. And we, certainly could be critical of the coaching. So there's enough blame to go around. But, that was, a tough one. On Saturday, we thought, it was one that maybe we were going to take from them or steal from them, if you want to put it that way, where, we have a comeback, a good top of the 9th and, kind of a kick in the gut not to finish it out.
I heard you tell Brad Henderson after the game on the radio yesterday that you really believed if your guys continue to compete the way that they did this weekend, that there's an opportunity for some good in the second half of a conference play. And it certainly doesn't get any easier with the number 1 team in the country coming in this weekend. Take me just a little deeper on that, though. What you're seeing in practice, what you're seeing from your guys on a day-to-day basis that gives you that belief that they can continue to not just compete, but to get some wins.
Well, that's it. You got to continue to compete, and you got to be careful because it's easy to get emotional. And I know, fans can do that. That's fine, and but that's not what we get paid to do, and that's what the players aren't supposed to do. You're supposed to, get into the game and get into the fundamentals of the game, and trying to make pitches and win pitches offensively and those types of things. And on the mound, we've gotten better, and we're getting a little healthier. And I thought we've pitched better the last few weeks. It sometimes hasn't shown up, in the result page, but we certainly are. If you look at our numbers, our ERA has gone down, and we've done a better job of that. We've done a better job of catching the ball. We thought we could field. We fielded the ball really well at the beginning of the year when we got the conference play, and that the gloves haven't shown up. But the last few weeks, our fielding percentage has gone up about 10 points, which is huge in fielding percentage. So we've played better. We've played, and I think we've been in more games, of late. We just haven't won them. And so with half the season left, if we can, continue to do that, I think we're going to have more success.
On the defensive stuff, there's one guy to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, it feels like there's been a big turnaround. Leger had that stretch where he didn't have, I don't know, maybe a great feel for it defensively, but he has made over the last couple of weekends some huge plays at third base for you.
No, he has, and he's really swung it well, and his average is going up some. But it's unfortunate because he's really hit some really hard balls that went right at some defenders and did that again in Starkville. He's playing a lot better, and a lot of times when you're swinging it better, you tend to field it better. And a lot of people look at some of the older guys that transfers, they're still new, and so even though they're older, and you hope that they're going to be able to transition faster into what they can be as a player sooner because they're older. Sometimes we forget that it's the first time some of those guys have ever played in this type of baseball, and he's played his best baseball in the last couple of weeks for sure.
You told us last week that you thought the plan for Hunter Elliott was going to be to pitch this weekend against LSU, and that I don't know that you were committing to it, but kind of what he's done made you think that might be in a starting role. Are you any farther along now that you're into the week where he's supposed to return on what that's going to look like?
Yeah, I'm sorry to break the news to you, but I don't have that news yet. He'll throw a bullpen tomorrow, and then we'll probably evaluate, on Wednesday and Thursday how he feels. I think he's still, we are still looking at this weekend as that's going to be the case, but where that's going to be and how we're going to use him, and again, it's not trying to keep any secrets close to the vest. I think we just don't want to get ahead of ourselves. And so he'll kind of throw his final bullpen on tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll kind of evaluate on Wednesday and Thursday how he feels. But he did throw to live hitters Friday morning early before we left for Starkville. He threw 30 pitches, 33 to be exact, I think, and looked great. Velocity's been great. He's had no hiccups, so he's hit every mark through the rehab protocol and looks great. But I'd like to get through tomorrow's bullpen before we make any decisions on the weekend yet.
As we wrap up, I'd love to get your thoughts on one kind of bigger picture baseball conversation. We got the news last week that there's some pretty significant changes that are coming to the recruiting calendar. You are not going to be able to, talk to players that you're recruiting until August 1st going into their junior year. When you heard that, and you may have known that it was coming anyway, what does that mean for you guys? Is this good for college baseball? Is it good for the recruiting process?
I understand it, and I respect that. I think I should say all, I get in trouble saying that. I think most college coaches would prefer to be back like it was 15, 20 years ago where you were recruiting one class rather than four. And now when you throw on top of it, you got the transfer portal and NIL. There's a lot to juggle, throughout the recruiting process and trying to, put together a roster and roster management. So I understand that. I'm just hopeful that if you're going to put all these rules in, that you're going to be really strict if you find out that people are breaking the rules, and it's really, difficult to just think, well, we can check their university phone and make sure that the calls aren't being made or taken. Man, that's tough. I don't know. I think a lot of times when you make rules, people try to push right up against the rules or even past the rules, but I understand it, and I get it, and I'm all for it.
As someone who's had multiple sons recruited, are you on board with the idea that maybe a 14 or a 15-year-old is not really prepared to make their full-time college decision in 8th or 9th grade?
That makes a lot of sense, but it's unfortunate. It's not necessarily it's the pressure that people are making them have to, and putting pressure on families, and to play travel baseball, and other kids are getting called by coaches. I think that the kids are feeling that clock, ticking much sooner than they need to be, and they shouldn't have to do that. And at the end of the day, and part of it is once the kid commits, in baseball, people feel like that's where he's going to school. In football, it's not until the kid signs the national letter of intent. Baseball, a kid commits when he's 14, and nobody usually recruits him after that. And so we're a lot different. But I think it's wise, and I'm hopeful that this is going to change some things. Will it? I don't know, but I'm hopeful.
Arkansas